Albertans' access to the COVID shot set to expire.
They're making it very hard for parents to ensure that their children can be healthy in this province.
As the UCP government revamps its vaccination program for the fall.
Them to back off, give me an apology.
An Airdrie couple calls out their bank after fraudsters took out credit, leaving them to foot the bill. And how a local club is preserving Morse code in the 21st century.
CTV Calgary, local breaking news with Camilla DiGiuseppe.
Good afternoon. Starting Friday, Albertans will not have access to COVID vaccines. The province says it needs to pause the program to prepare for the fall rollout. Stephanie Thomas joins us now. And Stephanie, you've got the details. Albertans will also need to book their vaccine in advance.
Yes, Camilla, so time is running out for Albertans to roll up their sleeves for a free COVID-19 vaccine at their local pharmacy or doctor's clinic. And there's not even any vaccine available for people aged 12 and under right now. But when the fall immunization program resumes, it's going to look very different. So as a first note, starting on August 11th, Albertans will need to register for their COVID shot. Now, this is a separate step from booking an appointment. The shot administered this fall will be the most effective for the latest strain. And for the first time, most Albertans will have to pay for the shots. That includes healthcare workers. When this new program was announced, the cost was estimated at over $100 a dose. No other health jurisdiction in Canada requires this. The province previously announced these measures would reduce vaccine waste, but one health law expert doesn't buy that.
Understand that politically this is not a government that believes in pushing vaccines or incentivizing people to get vaccinated. But if you want medical choice and medical freedom, which this government has spoken a lot about, that should also be paying for vaccines for those who want them or who want them for their children.
Another change that Albertans can expect to see this fall is that the COVID-19 vaccines will be ordered in a pre-filled syringe. And this is to reduce waste from vials that weren't always used up. And COVID vaccines will also only be available at health clinics in the fall. Camilla?
Stephanie, thank you so much. A man has been charged with first-degree murder and attempted murder for a fatal hit-and-run on Siksika Nation. Adolphus Weaselchild was charged by Mounties yesterday with 2 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of attempted murder. 27-year-old Trayton Runningbird, 45-year-old Clifton Saddleback were ran over along a gravel road around 9:30 Saturday night. 45-year-old Emmeline Turningrove was also taken to hospital in critical condition. 2 others were uninjured. Mountie seized this gray Toyota pickup truck that was allegedly used in the attack.
The officers quickly determined that there was more to this investigation than simply a fatal hit and run, that there seemed to be a deliberate component to it. When you lay a charge of first-degree murder, you're definitely showing a clear intent ahead of time that this was the plan for this individual. And, we don't lay these charges half-heartedly.
Weaselchild is due in Drumheller Court August 8th. A man has been charged with sexual assault involving a child. Engelbert Serrano Celis is facing several charges for crimes dating back to 2011 and 2012. The 54-year-old is accused of sexually assaulting a girl who says the abuse started when she was 9. Investigators say Celis was an extended family member of the victim. A Southern Alberta woman says after her personal information was fraudulently used to obtain a credit card, she was left on the hook for a huge bill. But Katrina Whitwer only found out when one bank called her about a pending credit card application she never filled out. That's when the Airdrie woman did a credit report check and found another credit card issued by a different bank. She soon learned someone faked a passport of hers and spent over $17,000 using that that BMO card. She called police and proved it wasn't her card at the branch, so the bank shut it down. That was in March, but just last week, she found out BMO was taking legal action against her to repay debt. That's when her husband, who happens to be a cybersecurity expert, got involved and found her credit rating was negatively impacted. Whitwer was reluctant to go on camera, but her husband did.
All I want from this is them to back off, give me an apology, take off the derogatory credit information, and to make sure they put in steps to make sure this doesn't affect anybody else.
BMO says it will no longer be taking legal action against Whitwer. It's also working with the Credit Bureau to ensure there's no impact on her credit report. And several local nonprofit animal organizations are sending out a warning after they were targeted by an overpayment scam using a fake check. The Alice Sanctuary and Calgary Humane Society each received checks for $95,000 with a letter from a lawyer claiming it was a gift from a donor's estate. They were both asked to send back a certain amount to cover the cost of an injured dog. If they had, they would have lost their own money, likely before the bank realized the check was fraudulent or bounced back, leaving them on the hook for the cash. Luckily, neither group submitted the check after red flags began to pop up.
Incredibly disheartening, incredibly selfish. Animals in Calgary need this help. So, yeah, very disappointing and quite surprising as well. We've never seen anything like this come through.
Data from the Canadian Anti-Fraud Centre shows Canadians lost almost $640 million to fraud last year, but the Better Business Bureau estimates that stat is higher because only 5% of fraud gets reported to police. Alberta's chief electoral officer is pushing back against the premier and the justice minister. Today, Danielle Smith and Mickey Amory posted on social media suggesting Elections Alberta should not be going to court to determine if a proposed referendum question violates the Constitution. The citizen-initiated question asks, do you agree with Alberta becoming a sovereign country and ceasing to be a province in Canada? The government says the whole point of the legislation is to give Albertans democratic rights without needless red tape or court applications slowing the process. But the chief electoral officer says the act also says referendum questions can't contravene the Constitution, or it will carry out in court. All the rain this month is leading to flood damage across the city, including at Confederation Park, and that's where we find our Tim Brook tonight. And Tim, despite the dry weather today, parts of the park remain a swamp.
Well, yes, Camilla, we showed our viewers on the show last night some of the flooding here in Confederation Park. Well, I can tell you, unfortunately, over the last 24 or so hours, it's just gotten a lot worse here. Pathways are washed out and the grass is soaked, puddling in dozens of spots. The ducks are loving it, the humans not so much. The majority of the flooding damage is in the park's northeast corner, but we've seen pooling water as far southeast as 14th Street. At the Rosemont Community Association, the water disrupted summer camps and forced walkers and bikers to find alternate routes. The area councillor says the problem is currently bad, but water in this park is far from abnormal.
A combination of Parks as well as the Water Services Group are in there since May, since we had a number of different thunderstorms over that time period. It's part of the regular process of going in and cleaning up both the storm water that's retained on the surface as well as any vegetation that's there. There have been a number of incidences that have been tracked in there, but at this point I don't have an actual cost for it.
Now, just like the city has a snow clearing budget, we can tell you there's also a funding for public flooding. The Stormwater Maintenance Fund is going to be used to clean up Confederation Park and any other flooded low-lying areas. And Camilla, we can tell you city crews have been here throughout the day doing just that.
All right, Tim, thank you. Well, all that rain we've had this month is creating flooding problems for some homeowners. Residents of a condo complex in Albert Park say the same area has flooded 4 times this month. They've called 311 and want something to change. They say it happens several times each summer, with all the rain spilling from nearby streets right toward their condo, with water sometimes seeping into cars and homes.
We have second time per day. It's just ridiculous, you know. All people here in all 5 buildings, we want city to improve the stormwater mitigation here in this area, because it is every time, and we are very afraid of insurance claims.
The city says it's aware of the drainage issues in the area. An improvement project is currently in the planning stage. Let's bring in our Danielle Savoni with our first look at the weather. So that soaking that we got last night impacted record numbers. So
yeah. It bumped us up a little bit. So we went from 5th place when we're talking about the wettest July on record. We went to 5th place to 3rd when we totaled in everything that fell Sunday night through Monday. So Sunday night through Monday, we got 22, depending on where you were in the city, 22 to 25 millimeters of rainfall. So 2025 July puts us at 3rd for the third wettest July, 162.1 millimeters so far is what we've received this month. There's still a few days left. And then the top was 1927, 245.4 millimeters. So at least we're not close to first place, but we've had a lot of rain. So are we welcoming this sunshine with open arms? We sure are. Dry weather for the next few days. 22 degrees is the temperature, lots of sunshine out there, and that sunshine will continue. In fact, we'll be even warmer tomorrow with a high of 27 expected. Really, the only thing for the next 24 hours, there may be a few fog patches developing overnight and early tomorrow morning. That's your 24-hour forecast, and it's brought to you by 5th Avenue Volkswagen, where you can win your ride. See dealer for details or visit 5thavvw.com. Cam?
Danielle, thank you. Well, it's a big job that comes with a big paycheck. Just ahead, council voted to give Calgary's CAO a hefty raise, and now to disclose how much it pays to run all city departments. And planning is underway to deal with problematic poplars. And if you have a news tip, text us at 10400. Calgary will consider removing problematic poplar trees that cause damage to roads and sidewalks. The roots of the trees can cause cracking and displacement to cement and asphalt. Council voted unanimously to order officials to come up with a plan to replace mature poplars that were planted within 3 meters of a sidewalk. The goal would be to replace them with a less invasive tree species. The plan would first target poplars that are already nearing the end of their lifespan. More details are expected early next year. Danielle, all that green grass out there, finally a chance for some of that water to kind of just soak in and, you know, just do its thing.
And I mean, every summer there's something to talk about, whether it's a really crazy storm season or it's smoke. And in this case, for this month, it's certainly been the amount of rain that we've had. But yes, this leads to that green grass. And now we have about a 3-day dry stretch because the rain will be back Friday night. Okay, looking at temperatures, temperatures are getting to climb again because we're getting the sunshine. So, and it's a ridge of high pressure. So it's not just sunshine, but it's sunshine and stability as well, which is some good news for us. 22 right now at the airport, 24 downtown, 22 in Bragg Creek, and 24 over in Strathmore. Get your daily dose of greens at Serenity Golf Club, just 20 minutes east of the city. And wow, what a beautiful day for golfing. You can't blame it on the wind if you didn't do so well. Okay, so again, 22 in Calgary, 25 in Drumheller in through Brooks, 23 in Pincher Creek. A little bit windy in this corridor here, around 40 kilometers per hour was the maximum wind gust for today, but nothing big. Nothing big to talk about in general, except for way, way, way off to the west where there is a little bit of instability. So over on the BC side, near Cranbrook, and then over here, Pincher Creek, Crowsnest Pass, we have the risk of thunderstorm activity for the next couple of hours. And then this isn't, we don't have enough steam and we don't have enough things in place for this to track off and intensify as it builds to the east. So this will stay here, die out here. It should not make it to QE2, Highway 2. It should basically stay west of 22. So here you go. Here's a look at the futurecast showing you how that just dies out. By 9 o'clock, we're looking at total stability. And then for tomorrow, a whole lot of sunshine out there. It'll be tough to find some clouds. And then later in the day, we have that build in again of a little bit of instability right along the mountains. But again, it won't be able to gain any steam to move off to the east. So it will remain there, and it should be quite quiet, like no severe thunderstorms possible for the next couple of days, thanks to this ridge of high pressure that's in place. So this ridge of high pressure will be in place really until late Friday. That means heat will build, we'll get quite warm over these next few for sure, and that will lead to the stability as well. So by the time, though, that pattern falls apart late Friday into the weekend, temperatures will cool again, and then we're also looking at getting into more rainfall. Now, it looks like we'll add the rainfall even to early August here, but it doesn't look like we're going to get any more rain, at least for the month of July. At this point anyway. 27 degrees is the high expected for tomorrow. There may be a few fog patches developing tonight, early tomorrow morning, but overall Wednesday, Thursday, a whole lot of sunshine. That sunshine continues into Friday. It will cloud over in the afternoon, and then Friday night and through Saturday, about 10 to 15 millimeters of rain possible.
Canadian Blood Services is putting out a call for O-negative blood donors. O-negative is the universal blood type, so it can be given to anyone. It's vital when emergency responders don't have the time to check blood types. Canadian Blood Services says only 7% of people in Canada are O-negative. Taper corn lovers, have your ears been burning? Well, despite a very rainy July, Canada's corn capital is bursting with the sweet summer treats. Day on the markets, and Air Canada experiencing turbulence. Joining me is Leanna Washniak, investment advisor with the Poplar Advisory Group. So, Leanna, what did markets do today?
Well, we saw a really interesting divergence between Canadian and U.S. markets today. There was a lot of trading in setup for a couple of the main pieces of news that we've been waiting for that are supposed to be happening starting tomorrow. We're going to get some interest rate decisions from both central banks on the U.S. and Canadian sides of the border. We're also going to start getting some of those tech earnings numbers, which are major market drivers. So we saw some setup for that today. But on the Canadian side of the border, we actually were lifted partly by oil prices rising and partly by companies like Celestica, which is now Canada's third most valuable tech company after reporting a 21% increase in year-over-year revenue and lifting their guidance as more companies invest in their data center infrastructure and buy their networking products. Now, Celestica has become a key supplier to companies like Google, Meta, and Amazon, and their stocks were up 17% today, so they definitely helped drive some of that lift.
Another company, Leanna, not experiencing quite the same luck today as Air Canada. Stocks taking a nosedive.
That's right. Their stocks were down 12% or just about that amount today. And that was really driven by their second quarter data, which came out today and showed a sharp decrease in profit overall. They actually saw trips to the U.S. decline, and that led a lot of the negative portion of their profit margins decreasing. 11% decrease in that amount of Canadians going to the U.S. on Air Canada, which was made up for a little bit in other areas, but not significantly. So that was really a headwind for them.
All right, Leanna, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Calgary Council's top unelected official makes $410,000 a year. Chief Administrative Officer David Duckworth disclosed his annual compensation in Council this afternoon. It came amid calls for more transparency around the salary of Duckworth. The CAO is an employee of Council itself, not the city, and councillors vote on pay adjustments. Earlier this year, councillors voted in favor of a 36% salary increase for Duckworth, but it happened behind closed doors. Councillors unanimously voted in favor of publicly disclosing the CAO's salary on an annual basis. The provincial government and Alberta Union of Provincial Employees will be entering an enhanced mediation process for contract negotiations. The mediator will produce non-binding recommendations for both parties to consider. The process is expected to be finished by the end of August. In May, 90% of unionized provincial employees voted for strike action. The AUPE represents about 23,000 provincial workers. Starting Friday, COVID vaccines will be on hold for Albertans. Here's Tara Nelson with a look ahead to CTV News at 6.
Hi, Camilla. The province says it's pausing COVID shots to prepare for the fall rollout of the latest vaccine. Coming up at 6, we'll have reaction from a mother who's trying to get a COVID shot right now for her 1-year-old who has started daycare. Also ahead, what do Albertans think of the province's proposal to start charging for boats to access provincial waters? We'll have that story as well coming up at 6. Camilla.
Tara, thank you. Well, sweet news from Taber. The first ears of corn are hitting local farm stands. The Southern Alberta grown treat is a summer staple for many Albertans and Canadians across the country. Farmers say they are excited for this year's harvest and to reconnect with all their customers. The growing season took an unexpected turn after crops got off to a great start thanks to an early, hot and dry summer, which was followed by a wetter than usual July. All that rain slowed things down.
Definitely slowed down our start date or pushed our start back on our corn, which was a little unexpected.
We're very happy with the crop we have this year. And yeah, hopefully the yield's good. We're going to see when we start picking tomorrow morning.
Barring any heat waves or extended rain, the Taber corn season will stretch into mid-September. But we're still in July right now, and it is 22 degrees, partly cloudy out there. Danielle has more details after the break. Not exactly a weather term, but you could kind of say that we meddled.
Yeah.
Third
We got a bronze.
July. It's kind of like a bronze.
Yeah, the third rainiest is better than the third smokiest.
That is very true.
Or third snowiest July, or...
Oh, you don't want that at all.
Third stormiest July. I mean, we've had a lot of rain, a lot of pooling, localized flooding. So that's not the good part of it, but the good part of it is it certainly is rain that we've needed in many communities in many areas. 22 degrees is the current temperature. 24 is normal. We will be above normal for the next 3 days. Enjoy it. Enjoy the sunshine. Enjoy the heat, because by Friday night things deteriorate. Friday night through the weekend, rainfall.
All right, Danielle, thank you. Heritage Park is one of the few places in North America where you could learn telegraphy and Morse code. The Junior Telegraph Club was formed in 2019 by a group of volunteers passionate about keeping Morse code alive. The code was invented in the 1840s and used mainly to communicate between railway stations. During their spare time, staff would send telegrams for the public. The club at Heritage Park is the only one in North America that's teaching the craft to a new generation.
It's a dying art. We don't want to lose it. It's part of our history. And we want to keep that alive. And we have people coming from the Ukraine or the UK or India, and they hear this, like, oh, I know that. That was part of my childhood. In some places in India and some of those other places, it's in the Ukraine, it's still being done.
For more information about the Junior Telegraph Club, head to our website, ctvnewscalgary.ca/Calgary rather. Now, if I could only sign off with Morse code, then I would do that. But instead, I'll just do it the old-fashioned way. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, here's the early edition of the CTV National News.